Yo, 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 what's up, guys? Hope you guys are all doing well today. The crab market to end this week. The crab market to end this week, and that is a strong possibility in my mind. So, what is the crab market? So, the crab market is ultimately a sideways market, obviously, because crabs walk sideways. And, it is this period over here. So, we've basically just gone sideways for um, the past month. Basically, the past month has just been sideways price action, which isn't ideal for swing traders. Obviously, great for scalp traders. You can get these moves in and out. But yeah, we haven't been getting into any swing trades recently just because we are waiting for the crab market to end. And it looks like it is all coming together over here. You can see we do have this downsloping resistance over here coming down there. And it looks like we are currently testing that at the moment. So right over here. So if we get above this, it'll be looking good. And we obviously have the upsloping support over here. And basically, we are kind of coming into the apex of this kind of triangle formation here. And you do expect as a, trader, a breakout trade to occur here. So, if we break to the upside and get above the 50-day EMA, which is the red line over here, then you would expect that we could continue onwards and upwards. Obviously, there is massive resistance. If we zoom out over here, you can see massive resistance. The zone over here, it was huge support, tested as resistance. So we would expect this area to be tested as resistance again. So yeah, we're not expecting to, just munch through here, but things are looking good. Things are lining up. The RSI is looking good on the daily time frame. Looks like, we've seen it get through the zone over here. We are above 50. We have been trading above 50 for a while. Depends how you look at it. But it is looking good, guys. It is looking good. As soon as we break out here clearly, get into that 60 zone, maybe even get above this last high over here, we are starting to consistently be above these highs over here. So it looks like, bullish momentum could be coming back into the market, but we do need to get above the 50-day EMA coming in at 89K. So this zone over here, if we can get above there, it is looking good. So we are now above the 200-day EMA, which is a sign of strength. We show it closed 1, 2, potentially the third day above the 200-day EMA, which does give us hope, guys. Does give us hope. We did say that usually in a bull run, any price action below the 200-day EMA, so this would be the 200-day EMA, the blue line. So this would be a great buying opportunity, a great buying opportunity, a great buying opportunity, and of course, maybe a great buying opportunity. So normally, when you start to park underneath the 200-day EMA and there is a lot of fear in the market, it is a great buying opportunity. Just like over here, guys. And at the end of the day, it is most likely going to break to the upside and complete the crypto cycle going into Q4 of 2025 or Q1 of 2026. So let's wait and see, guys. We're still long and strong. We're still holding our spot bags, and let's just wait because we are expecting this to break out this week. Sunday, next week, Monday is over here. And that is outside of the apex here. So we do expect that, the trending move is going to take place before that happens. And if we look at Forex Factory, obviously the news events, what news events will be bringing volatility into the markets, some volume into the markets? Obviously, we have the final GDP quarter on quarter that's coming in on Thursday, tomorrow, of course, and the unemployment claims. And on Friday, we have the core PCE. Okay, massive news event. Let's see what the inflation and whatnot brings to the table. And of course, next week we do have the NFP. So what we could see is a potential false move break this week, and then the real move to come after NFP, which does often happen, guys. Does often happen. So we can see a move up into NFP, something like that, and then come down, or vice versa, something like that. So this is what I'm looking out for, guys. A false move is definitely on the cards, and we're gonna have to wait and see, guys. But I think if Bitcoin can break above here, test this as resistance. This is the most obvious resistance, and then start to flip that 50-day into support. I do see a move to the range highs. I do see a move to the range highs, and if we draw our 50% level, which we always use, there we go. There we go. that 50% level comes in at 93,300. So 93,300 is ultimately the level to break and get above the zone over there. So if we can flip this into support, I do expect that when we do test this from the underside, it should be resistance. So push up, big resistance. And if we can start to consolidate above here, test this as support, then our thesis of this moving higher may be on. But for now, we do have to watch out for 93.3K. That is where, Bitcoin will face some resistance, and that is the 50% level, guys. So, we are in the stronger half of the macro range. So the macro range will be from August last year to the all-time highs. That 50% level comes in at 79,600. So we are in the stronger half of the macro range, but we are in the weaker half of the micro range. So if we can get above 93.3K, we'll be in the stronger half of the macro range and the micro range, and we do expect range highs to play out sooner than later, guys, sooner than later. So we are keeping it simple. We haven't taken a Bitcoin trade or many swing trades at all, a couple trades here and there since this zone over here. So we were just waiting for the breakout of this downsloping resistance, which it didn't happen over there, didn't happen over here. Then when this happened, you said, come, let's just wait. What's going to happen is we're going to see a double bottom with bullish divergence. That is what played out perfectly. We didn't catch these because we were below the 200-day EMA, but this just gave us a good idea that this was the bottom, and we did, of course, come into the 50% level of the macro range. So it was an obvious support zone with lots of fear in the market, but it's not game over, guys. It's not game over. This can easily come down into the green box, which is the ultimate buy zone. Of course, the ultimate buy zone and the 618. So if we put on the 618, there we go. We come into that. This will be the ultimate buy, and this lines up nicely with these old tops over here. And will be the ultimate SR flip. But for now, we are in the stronger half of the range. You would expect this to be a quick wick, of course. So for now, it's not happening, guys. For now, it's not happening. So let's wait and see. So our first sign and symptom of that maybe happening would be first breaking this downsloping support over here, closing multiple days below the 200-day EMA. Then we can look for the zone over here. But for now, we are just waiting for a break of the 200 or the 50-day EMAs or one of these up or down sloping support resistances. And we are just waiting patiently, guys. And this week should happen because this is the apex. This is the apex over here. Okay, so this is happening. It's lining up here for the end of the week, on the weekend maybe. So let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see on that one. Solana breakout, of course. Broke out on the weekend. We didn't take this trade. We didn't take this trade because it broke out on a Sunday, and we don't like breakouts on a Sunday. There's no volume on a Sunday. The traditional markets are closed, so it's normally a bit fishy. But there we go. Breakout. Your target would be this $184 region if you are looking for a TP. If you did take this trade, that's of course these highs over here. This is a massive support and resistance, 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 resistance. We broke through, support, 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 lost a level, resistance, and come down. So this is a massive zone. We would expect this zone to be tagged, guys. We would expect this zone to be tagged, and our ultimate buy zone is 136. So we are waiting for 136 to get into this trade. Of course, there is a breakout over there. And 136 does make sense, but we wouldn't want to see a daily close there. We want to see a quick wick. And 136 gives us a really good risk to reward if we do long from 136, which I do have an alert for. And of course, our stops would go below these wicks here. We don't really want to take out that $120 region. And then we are targeting that $182 region, giving us a risk reward of 3-1. So this is the ultimate Solana trade, in my opinion, 136. I'm going to see how price reacts when we do go into that. I'm not saying this is going to definitely play out with certainty, but this is a good risk to reward if 136 is visited. If this just keeps going on, we're not going to chase price because the risk reward at the moment is not favorable, 1.6-1. But if it is 3-1 risk reward, that is favorable. And this makes sense because these old tops over here, we would expect it to be retested as support because it was resistance, retest as support, and then get that push up there over, guys. That push up there to the top, guys. And that's what's happening for Solana. That's the game plan for Solana. For Ethereum, we have taken profits on this trade already. We did close the trade. Looks like we are forming some kind of bullish market structure. And what I like for Ethereum is that we are breaking out, guys. The RSI has broken out, unlike Bitcoin, which it looks like it's broken out, but it's not really confirmed yet. But the problem is it is still below 50. Okay, with the RSI still at 46. So what we'd want to see is for the RSI to get above, the 50, 55 zone, maybe test it as support, and then move to the top of the range. And that is when we should get our big move on Ethereum. And we would like to see Ethereum at least come into the 200-day EMA. The 50-day EMA is only a matter of time, in my opinion. I do see this happening sooner than later, push up to that 2,320. But the ultimate breakout will be the breakout of this downsloping supporting resistance over here. Sorry, yeah, downsloping resistance over there. And I think what's going to happen for Ethereum is we're going to get a push up to the 50-day EMA, come back, test this as support, and then start to break out, consolidate here, eventually get out. And this is when we'll be taking our big trades, guys. So we took little scalps here from that 1840 zone, which we've taken profits. But the ultimate trade is going to be this one, guys. That is the ultimate trade, which we will be patiently waiting for, guys. So of course, 3-to-1 risk reward. We are happy to take this trade, and it's just a matter of time, guys. We might have to wait for April or May, something like that, and yeah, that might play out. So let's wait and see, guys. But for now, we are sitting on our hands, and Solana is looking more bullish on the breakout, and Bitcoin is also much closer to that breakout zone than Ethereum. You can see Ethereum still has a lot of work to do to get back up to the zone over here. So let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. XRP looking good. Still not in the perfect buy zone. I'm waiting for XRP to test the 200-day EMA at least. We haven't tested this in ages. Everything else has tested it. Maybe it's just showing how strong XRP is relative to the rest. But you know that we like to buy a bounce off the 200-day EMA. If it doesn't happen, then we miss the trade. Simple. If it does happen, we have a good risk reward trade. So that's how to think about it, guys. Bitcoin dominance, kind of playing ball here, taking a lot longer than we thought to play out. And just remember, guys, the Bitcoin maxis were allowed over here with a potential bearish divergence forming. So this is kind of what we want to see for a potential top in Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance topping means that altcoins will outperform Bitcoin dominance, but it's only confirmed, Bitcoin, but it's only confirmed when we break down. So what I'm waiting for is, we have deviated this high over here, and we could be rolling over now. But what I want to see is a loss of this zone over here. I want to see Bitcoin dominance underneath 60%. Then I want to see a retest of the 50-day EMA at 61%, and then a move down to the 200, break that, and then a push down to the ultimate target of 52%, which this is TP1. TP2 is 42%, and we have discussed this. Let's put this on the 5-day time frame. It is more clear. So we have discussed our TPs and why the cycle top isn't in, because Bitcoin dominance is not at the bottom of the range. Okay, so this was a cycle top, January 2018 cycle top, and this was a cycle top, October 21 cycle top. You can see Bitcoin dominance at the bottom, and Bitcoin dominance is clearly not at the bottom. So we're waiting for at least 51.6%. That is our bearish case scenario for altcoins, and our bullish case scenario for altcoins is 42%. And this will obviously take a while to play out, so let's wait and see, guys. But for now, we did take note that the Bitcoin maxis were allowed, but we are waiting for a breakout of the zone over here, which has not happened yet, guys. It has not happened yet. USDT dominance as well, looking like, it did test this as resistance over here. So we had resistance, or a top over here, another top over there, and then once we have two tops, we can draw the line. So we drew the line, and look at that over there. That marked the next resistance zone, and we are breaking down in the RSI. So you can see the RSI is under 50. So you can see over here. Sorry, let me pull it up a bit. RSI is underneath 50. You can see it's at 48.2. And we have broken this downsloping support over here. So what you do expect is for USDT dominance to move down to the bottom of the RSI oscillator And this should mark a bottom, not the ultimate bottom. You know, we normally get a bullish divergence, so there'll probably be a move down and then like another sweep with a bullish divergence there. But you know, we are looking to take longs now and potentially take profits when we do see the RSI for USDT dominance below 30. So that is the plan, guys. That is the plan. This is another sign and symptom of potential altcoin moves. And we haven't taken any altcoin trades yet. I think it was, you know, we've been DCAing into some spot Ondo, which we spoke about last week, and that is paying dividends at the moment. But for now, this has to break these EMAs. We have to come down, take out this level over here. But guys, we all know how fast that can happen. Okay, look how fast this happened. So it lost this level over here, moved down, bang, 2 weeks. Okay, so anything can happen. I would be positioning long, and this is going to look like some kind of head and shoulders as well. You can see it move up, shoulder, head, maybe a little shoulder, and then a breakdown. And we are looking at a breakdown, nothing huge, but if USDT dominance is below here, and remember that a lot of USDT is being minted at the moment. So that means there is more USDT in the market. And if this comes lower with more USDT coming into the market, it means that altcoins are going to rip. So that is the game plan at the moment. For now, I'm still happy to long crypto as long as we are below 6.56%. If we get above 6.56%, it's going to look ugly. And that will probably be a sign and symptom of the end of the bull run. But for now, we aren't there. We're still facing this zone as resistance. We do have a breakdown on the RSI, which means bearish momentum to follow through. So let's wait and see, guys. Total crypto market. Okay. We spoke about this plan a while ago, so I'm going to move this to the side. We are waiting for these levels to be claimed. But total crypto market cap, okay, it's finally above the line in the sand. The line in the sand was 2.72 trillion, and we are above the line in the sand. Okay, so that is a good sign. Looks like we are starting to form a bit of an uptrend here, but we do need to desperately get above the EMAs. Okay, so we need to get above the zone over here. You can see we are testing this as resistance, which is a bit of a red flag, but it's not a full red flag yet. And if this starts to, you know, get underneath these lows over here and get underneath the line in the sand, then it will start to look a bit ugly. But for now, we are waiting for that to reclaim the EMAs. And of course, we're waiting for total to reclaim 3 trillion. When total reclaims 3 trillion, it is game on. It is game on for total 3. And this is what we're looking for. So when total 3 reclaims 3 trillion and it starts to consolidate here, and it breaks out of this down sloping resistance over there, starts to form price action like this, then we are going to be going uber long, of course, over here. This would be our entry price. So we are below our entry price, but we are waiting for confirmation. And then our target for total is going to be 5 trillion. Okay. So that gives us a risk reward over here of 5 to 1. So this is the ultimate trade. This is the trade of 2025. But we have to be patient, guys. We have to be patient. It's not easy to get the trade of 2025. We have to be patient, and yeah, let's wait and see. But for now, you know, we are above the line in the sand. We are below the EMAs. RSI looks like it wants to break out, but it's not confirmed yet, guys. So what we have to do is be patient, of course, and just sit in your hands for now, and it'll eventually come to us. But if this starts to look you know, like it's going to reject, if we start to come beneath the line in the sand, then we can look for some scalp shorts, guys, of course. We have to trade the market both ways, of course. Okay, total 3 is what I've been looking at the most, because this is telling us that there is an altcoin break coming. So you can see over here, RSI above 50, RSI clear breakout over there. We have a breakout over here of this downsloping resistance. We are above the macro 50% over there, which is healthy. And we did get a nice bounce off the 618, which we outlined a while ago. So this is looking good, guys. If we can get above the 50-day EMA over here and start to get the RSI up into the 60 zone over there, test this as support, then I think that we can see a push up easily to a trillion. And then we'll see from there, guys. That is target 1. Michael Kivitz recommends that we BTFD, buy the fucking dip. Of course, guys, we've been DCAing into Ondo for the past week. We're gonna have a look at Ondo now, because Ondo is next on the list to look at. So let's have a look at Ondo. Okay, we are at 94 cents. Of course, we were DCAing in the zone over here. Okay, so we are up decently. You know, if you DCA'd at the top of the range, you'd be up 8% on spot, of course, with no leverage. But yeah, it's looking good. It's also approaching some kind of apex over here for Ondo, and we could see a nice breakout, of course. Only time will tell, guys. Only time will tell. Now is not the time to be going extremely bullishly long, but it is the time to start to pay attention. Start to pay attention at the trends, see what trends are changing, see what's happening in the market, because it is starting to look exciting, and there are some signs and symptoms of a potential alt season run, of course, guys. I wanted to speak about Toncoin quickly because we are still in this trade, and we're looking to load up on this trade if Toncoin does come into this zone over here, and that's of course between basically $3 and $3.3. So I'm going to set an alert for $3.3. If you guys, there we go. So this is some Ton TA there. So then in the comments now. Basically, I'm in this trade. I'm in this trade from I think about $3 zone over there. I can find the right number later. But this is a good trade in my opinion for Toncoin. So we're going to wait for Toncoin to come to about that 3.3 level over there. And then we are going to be looking for longs, guys. And our targets for the longs are going to be 4.71, 6.36. These are just obvious zones, guys. We have this downsloping resistance over there. And, you know, this would be the target. Of course, if it happens overnight, we're going to be targeting 6.7. But if it happens in July, we'll be targeting 5.8. So yeah, and of course we will be taking at least, you know, a third off the table at 4.72 because this is a very obvious SR flip. So this was support, it is resistance now. Turned off. We could easily see a move into this as an SR flip and then roll over from there. This is extremely possible, of course. SR flip, it was support, it's now resistance, so let's see what happens. Of course, the EMA lines up nicely over there. You are in from 3.67. Should I keep feeding it? What is your leverage? Let me know what your leverage is, and we can try solve that issue. So of course the EMAs over there are good targets. You know, we're looking good above the EMA, but you know, this crab market does make us chop around here. So, you know, Toncoin, the perfect entry is going to be in the zone over here. 15x might be a little bit too much. Yeah, I would say 15x leverage is a bit much on this one. I've gone, you know, if I want to get into this trade, the leverage that I'm looking at would be about, you know, 3x to 5x, depending on your risk management and depending on where you get in. If you get in here, 3x is good. If you get in over there, you know, you can be looking at a 4x trade from this zone over here. So this is the ultimate buy zone. If you go in the middle, you know, 3x from there as well. So this is the trade. Of course, this is a long-term swing trade. And, you know, these would be the ultimate targets. You know, if you put it over there, that's a 2-to-1 risk reward, which is, I think this is very likely to play out with a 2-to-1 risk reward. So that does give us, you know, a decent trade. This would be, you know, semi-likely to play out, and this, of course, less likely to play out. But this has a way higher chance of playing out, but the risk reward is obviously lower. So this is the ultimate trade for Ton. So I'm looking at, we've obviously got some good volume. If I turn on the volume for Ton, you can see that we did get a high volume spike over here. So volume was low, we got a high volume spike, and volume has been picking up since then. So this does give us some hope that this can, you know, move to the upside. Pepe starting to move as well. We obviously aren't in any meme coin trades. We do have some spot Pepe, so it is nice to see a little bit of a recovery run, 50%, you know, nothing to sneeze about, since you could be down on this at least 20 to 50%. Okay, Sui's looking good as well, guys. Sui broke out actually. That is annoying. Sui broke out on Monday, and it does look good. And I want to see Sui get above this macro 50% level and the EMAs. So I'm not rushing into any Sui trades yet, because I want to see Sui have a move up, test this as support, and then we're going to be getting long on Sui from here. So we want to see price trading above there, retests that $3 region as support, and then our risk to reward will be looking something like that. We'll get below these lows over there. And then, of course, TP1 is going to be all-time highs for Sui, because this is an extremely bullish market structure. And you would expect this to, move to the upside. And if we take out our Fibonacci tool over here, go to there, put on some of these targets like the 2.618. I'm going to just invert this quickly, guys. Reverse. So last time it moved from the high to the low and tagged the 2.618. So you would expect something similar to happen again. And the 2.618 target would be, this is obviously very bullish, guys. The 2.618 target would be just below $11. And this is the kind of trade that you want to get in. Of course, this would be TP3. This wouldn't be TP1. So we could turn on 1.618 and, of course, the all-time highs. So your trade would look something like this. Take a trade from $3 with your stop at that $2.30 zone. TP1 is going to be that $3.40. TP2, 1.618, and that's going to be coming at $7.43. And our final TP on something like Sui would be just above $10. So this is the kind of trade that we want to look at. And guys, nothing's confirmed yet. So this is why we are being very patient. Of course, this is something that you can get a 3x move on, and 270% 3x, looking like a good trade, guys. Looking like a good trade. And this is what we are waiting for, though, guys. So we're not longing now. This would have been a decent entry, though, an obvious breakout. But I do want to see altcoins trading above the 250 EMAs, above the key 50% levels before going extremely bullish and long on crypto. So there's a lot of recovery to do. Of course, let's have a look at some other tokens. So Tau, okay, not looking good. I want to see it above 458. ENS also struggling a bit, but it's also quite far. It obviously trades similar to Ethereum, and this is looking like we could get a breakout here as well, guys. Here we go. So definitely mark this off on your charts. When we are outside of this for 3 days, then I think some bullish momentum could come back. Chainlink also starting to show a little bit of bullish momentum coming through. RSI is looking good. I do want to see Chainlink above the key EMAs over there. So this would be green, because we're going to be buying this when we are above it. So of course, what we'd want to see is a push up, maybe come into that $19 region. Then we come back, test this as support, and then try break out of there. And then we are looking for higher prices. Of course, we're still spot long on Chainlink from a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. We are at least a little bit up on something like Chainlink. But this would be the plan, guys. Definitely mark this off on your charts. You must have a look at a lot of coins, because we are starting to get breakouts. Here's another one. I do like this breakout over there. I think I'm going to take this trade. I think this trade is definitely takeable. Look at this downsloping support. Looks like we are breaking out over there. And your trade would look something like this. We go long from here. Bang. We'll save a little bit more for if we do start to break down. Stop loss over there at 160. And then we'd be targeting this for TP1. So a lot of people would be, wondering how I get that. Our TP1 is actually going to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to adjust this to over there and move it across a bit, just like that. And this lines up extremely well with the SR flip. Okay, so here we go. Of course, Aave broke out. This was resistance, then it was support, then it was support, a little deeper flush, support over there, then we broke through, and we've been testing this as resistance. So this $282 region is a level that is likely to be tested as resistance. So what we can do is we can take a long from the zone over here, which I think I'm going to do after the show. Take Aave long. Our TP1 would be over here. That is a risk reward of 3.46 to 1, which is above 3 to 1, which is, I will take those trades. Stop loss underneath these lows over here. Maybe you can even put your stop loss underneath these lows over here in case we get like another wick. That moves our trade to a 2.63 to 1, so we can maybe try get an entry off the lows of today. And then that would be our TP1. TP2, of course, would be the range highs over there. So this would be looking like a decent trade. Let's make this red because we'd be selling the zone over here, of course. Bang, boom, red. Okay, there we go. Make the trade as well. Quite simple. And you could take this trade. If you are a little bit more aggressive, we could use that wick over there. And if we get stopped out, we're just going to enter again because that will most likely be the final little flush. Something like that. Cool. Risk reward is 3.5 to 1, 7.8 to 1. Obviously less likely to happen the bigger the risk to reward. And this is your trade, guys. I think this could be the trade of the day. And Aave is, of course, bullish. If we zoom out, it's had a very bullish run since the lows over here. You see we are in a bullish market structure, just creating higher highs and higher lows. And of course, this is an aggressive drop off. But if we look left, it is coming into a key zone over here. So this is a key zone. So basically a huge pullback with extreme fear into a key zone. We've been patient and now we have seen the breakout. So now we are looking for a potential trade like this. I think this makes sense. Took Sui from $2.40. Good trade, my man. Nice stuff. XRP just dumped. Okay, let's have a look at XRP because apparently it just dumped. Let's have a look on the 4-hour. Okay, a little bit of a dump on the 4-hour. We are still above these EMAs over there. Maybe there's something. Is there any news event? Let's go into the 15 minutes. Okay, dumping a little bit. Nothing major. This is on the 4-hour time frame. This is actually, a bullish cross of the 250 EMA. So a move into here could be a decent long opportunity, actually. So I'd be looking for longs on XRP. I am bullish on this. Like obviously a scalp long. Our swing longs, we said that we are going to wait for a tag of the 200-day EMA for big swing longs. But XRP, we are getting that 4-hour golden cross, which is bullish, of course. So let's wait and see. See the meme coins getting a little bit of a bid today. So I think Aave, guys, decent trade over here. Of course, I think I'm going to take this trade on Aave. So you guys can join me on that one and we'll see what happens. Of course, TP over there. Bang. $282. Okay, what else is looking interesting? Nothing else is looking too interesting in my opinion. At the end of the day, we are just waiting for Bitcoin to tell us where we are going. So of course we are converging into the zone over here, which we should see an end to the crab market this week, if not early next week. But guys, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Let's go into the macros quickly and see what's happening with the markets over here. Nothing much as well. If we go into the S&P 500, S&P 500 above the 200-day EMA as well. It's always good to buy the S&P 500 underneath the 200-day EMA. Always a good buying opportunity. And again, we did outline why we should see a bounce off here. And worst case, we came into this level over here. But it looks like we are running away, guys. Of course, very significant low over here. April 24. This was the geopolitical tensions. The all-time highs, the halfway point comes in at 5,552. And you can see the bulls stepped in over here and we're waiting for a potential bullish divergence. This was the ultimate trade. We didn't get the ultimate trade, but the S&P 500 still bullish, of course. And you know what we could see is maybe a move down, fill the gap over there, and then see higher prices. But let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. If we go to the dollar quickly, this is also another trade, guys. We've been waiting for this one very patiently. Of course, for the dollar to get a push up to 105, the dollar pushes up to 105, then we could see the S&P 500 come down to fill the gap. That would make sense and line up quite nicely, guys. So dollar to 105, S&P 500 fills the gap. Maybe we get the ultimate buys on some of these crypto tokens that we spoke about. It's all lining up, guys. It's all lining up, but just wait for Bitcoin, guys. What I like about Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame is that we are above the 200-day EMA, and we are starting to test this nicely as support. So you can see support over there. So bulls are stepping into the market. What we want to see, what we want to see is a move up to that 92K zone, massive resistance, a rejection. Okay. Then what's going to happen is, if this happens, of course, then we should get the cross of the EMAs. Okay, something like that. Let's make this blue for you guys, and we'll make this one. We'll make this one red for you guys. And once we get that golden cross, this means that it's game on for a potential change in trend. And the last time we got a nice bull cross after a consolidation period was over here. So it is worth buying, having two different strategies. You know, you can buy these 4-hour bull crosses. Of course, in a ranging market, we do get chopped up. You know, in a ranging market over here, you will get chopped up, but it can be the start of a new trend. Okay, of course, we're in a range, we're getting chopped up. If you're shorting this and longing that, you're getting chopped up. But this could be the start of a trend. So definitely keep an eye on that. It's definitely worth, you know, risking 1% of your, only 1% of your portfolio for the potential, you know, trend shift. If you nailed this trend shift over here, you got rewarded. You got extremely rewarded, of course. So let's wait and see, you guys. We should get clarity by the end of this week, because we are going to break that apex on Bitcoin. This thing over here. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. I think that was super solid. We know what's going on. Quickly have a look at the liquidity. Players are still long, so we could see a little bit of a move to the downside, a little long squeeze, and the liquidity does lie over here, 88.6K and 86.7 here, 82K. So we could see a push lower, or even 76K. So those are the liquidity points. Will we see this? I'm not sure. There's still quite a bit of liquidity at this 100K zone over there, which is actually starting to fall away a bit. So guys, let's wait and see. I'm going to end the stream over there. Thanks so much for joining, and we will see you guys on Friday.